Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend, pardon me, there's more of me to grow. Creative in my process, enjoy the show. The will is different when you recognize the different strokes. Different folks, same goals, we all want the most. So when we reach the top, we can enjoy the toast. The type of bread we get is fresh about the bakery. Told them don't play with me, with or without a degree. Don't question my intensity, bravery. Similar to agencies that want to see you fold. So just pray for me. Yeah, Einstein with my energy.
That. Like I mentioned before, I started off trying to be very prim and proper and professional, and that wasn't fun for me, nor was it fun for my audience. So once I gave myself, the freedom to be myself and be a little bit more blunt, that was like an opportunity for my channel to grow and for me to say, okay, this is working. This is the path that I need to take. I recommend that people give their channel at least 6 months before they expect anything amazing or concrete. And if at 6 months you're still struggling, it's time to reassess and figure out why.
You think that's because it can be just whatever content you're creating just might not be sticking?
I think it can be a lot of things. You do have to have a personality for YouTube. Sometimes people, they're not entertaining, they're not entertaining on YouTube. That doesn't mean you can't be on YouTube, but you might need to take a different direction. There are some people who don't appear on their YouTube channel. They just narrate over it and they use, image overlays and things like that. So it could be, the fact that you just really aren't, cut out for YouTube. I hate to put it that way. It could be because of the content itself. I do think it's important to be niche in the sense that you want to target your particular target audience if you're making a channel specifically to, for your author platform. My channel is geared toward people who I think would want to read my books. My books are adult. That's why I use adult language. If you don't like adult language in my channel, then you're not going to like my books because they're full of adult language, that sort of thing. So I do think it's important to be niche, but once you become too niche to the point where your videos are based on topics that no one is going to be looking up, that could hinder you. Another thing is being too broad, being too general, appealing to too many people. Even if your channel does grow in that way, once you get to the point where you're promoting your book, these people might be really upset when they read your book. If you made your channel appeal to everyone and be very family friendly, and then your book is filled with orgies, I mean, you're going to have a lot of
betrayed.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different ways you could screw up your YouTube channel. And I think a lot of it has to do with, it boils down to not taking your viewer into consideration and what they are expecting and what they are wanting.
Yeah, that's actually an awesome point, because it's so easy to think that you have to be as broad as possible so you can reach the widest net. But in spaces like online, there's just too many people that are fulfilling needs in all of the places that people find. So you kind of just have to find your spot and stick to your people, stick to your spot. And there can be a lot of people in those areas. So just honing in is super important.
I completely agree. And it can be a really big mistake to go too broad or too wide, unless whatever you're writing happens to appeal to 90% of the population, which especially if it's fiction, I have no idea how that's even possible. But most people, they're writing in some kind of genre or subgenre. You're usually, like, even if you're writing fantasy, which is one of the most popular genres, usually it's dark fantasy or it's high fantasy or it's epic fantasy. It's always some kind of niche. So you want to target your channel or your platform specifically for that niche and what they would be interested in. And if it means that you're casting a smaller net, it doesn't make a difference because you're casting the correct net and you're getting the right viewers.
Yeah, and those are the ones who really support you. So
exactly.
I also wanted to talk to you about a little bit about establishing yourself as an author. What has that been like for you? Because I've talked to a lot of authors, and that process has been very interesting to hear about. Like, when did you feel like you were really an author?
Well, I'm super, I don't know, like I'm like very like a black and white, cut and dry, like very logic based. And so for me, the definition of an author is someone who has published their work and is making money off of it. So the moment my debut novel was published and I sold my first copy, I was like, I'm an author. Like that was it, you know, because I had published, you know, short stories in magazines and poetry and in little poetry collections and stuff, but I'd never been paid. And so once my book was out and I got my first paycheck, well, not even the first paycheck, because that takes months for you to get. But once I saw the first, you know, order come through, I was like, hurrah, I'm an author. So for me, it's as simple as that. I know a lot of people are like, I felt like an author when I held the book in my hands for the first time. I don't know, like maybe I'm cold-hearted, but I can't relate to that. Like, I don't get all mushy gushy, you know, like everyone I know, they cried when they got their book. Whereas for me, I'm super anxious because it's a proof copy. They're sending you the copy so you can check to see if there's mistakes. So I'm just opening it up and like going through it, going, okay, are there any mistakes? And I've never received a proof copy on the first time, like the first round that was flawless. They always come in messed up. So it's not some exciting moment for me. I'm just like, damn it, this one, the margins are wrong or whatever else. One time the cover came in fuzzy and I was like, what is this? So I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm just cold-hearted and I don't have this, you know, mushy experience with becoming an author. I just see everything very logic based. And then you have the release week and everyone's like, are you celebrating? And it's like, no, I'm having a panic attack.
It's like, not at all. Like, what are you talking about?
This is the busiest day of my career and I'm going to be in a wine coma for the week after, you know?